Amira DB with a DB IP group. We're intellectual property professionals helping you protect your patents, trademarks, copyrights, and intellectual property. Today we're going to be talking about intellectual property theft, why you should avoid it, what you should look out for, and things to know to help you in your business. According to DTEX, 42% of all their cybersecurity investigations involve IP theft. This is a really critical issue that you need to be aware of in your business. The consequences of IP theft are severe. You can lose a lot of money in the millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, depending on the value of the intellectual property that's being stolen. The consequences of having your IP stolen are quite significant, not just in terms of legal, in terms of the costs that you're going to have to pay to remediate issues, hire counsel, hire cybersecurity professionals, but you're also going to lose trust in your customer base because your customers are trusting you to keep your intellectual property and your data secure. IP theft is a huge issue because you want customers to be able to trust that you're taking steps to protect the security and integrity of your systems. Another huge cost is with lawsuits. If you have to deal with IP theft, for example, loss of customer data, you could be facing lawsuits. And that's going to be very costly to respond to and to handle, and you may even have to pay damages depending on the intellectual property that was stolen. You're also going to incur a lot of operational expenses with dealing with the aftermath of cybersecurity theft. Protecting your intellectual property from theft starts fundamentally with just understanding various important measures that need to be taken. The reality is that monitoring and actually ensuring that IP hasn't been stolen is very challenging. You can invest tremendous amounts of resources on doing so, but even then, there may be still certain possible exploits or breaches that you're not aware of where IP is actually extracted and taken out of your organization without you knowing. Now, that's why it's so important to ensure that you've taken steps to properly protect your intellectual property where possible with patents, trademarks, and copyrights, because these registrations are essential not only in portfolio development, but also as protective measures in case your intellectual property is in fact stolen. It's also essential that you protect the organization by ensuring that your employees sign documents, policy documents internally where they understand that you have security measures in place and they're under an obligation to ensure they meet and satisfy those obligations to ensure the overall safety of the organization to avoid and minimize the risk of IP theft. So you're going to want to have your employees sign confidential information agreements where they understand that a lot of information internally is in fact confidential, and they have to take steps to ensure that they maintain the secrecy and the confidentiality of that information. Now, another important tip is to, whenever you have documents, for example, internally that are in fact confidential, you want to mark them as such. You want to mark them as confidential. Those sorts of headings, seemingly simple, are actually really helpful because an employee that comes into contact with that information will know right away that, hey, this isn't something that I should just be forwarding to a friend or talking about in public settings. This is confidential, and this is for the internal team need-to-know basis only. And so having these agreements in place, along with education, is a critical first step in minimizing the likelihood of IP theft for your organization. As we've discussed in this video, IP theft is a real issue, extremely costly to organizations, so it's critical that you're aware of the risks and take appropriate steps to minimize the likelihood of having IP theft and other cybersecurity breaches. Remember, this is not legal advice. If you're running into IP theft issues, I highly encourage you to speak to a patent or intellectual property professional. I hope this video is helpful. Please follow us. Thank you.